So normally I wouldn't hold my mic up like this. That's not how I wanted to start the live. I can't believe what happened at Utah Valley University, I believe, happened at all in the United States. It's not the country that I know. It's not the country that I want to know, and I can't believe that that this could happen. It's very sad. It's also outrageous. It's also a massive injustice, and it makes you think, how could this happen? I didn't agree with things he had to say, but I always liked the fact that he could do an interaction with you without there being like a guardrail in between, without there being a moat in between, without there being glass in between. So very informal, very chill almost. Now, if you don't know how to debate and you get into a debate, like let's say you're on the left and you get into it with someone like Charlie Kirk, you had better come ready. You had better come prepared, because you know he knew everything. I mean, everybody says things like that, but he actually, we're not talking about like he didn't know like how to harvest rice in China or about beet farming or stuff like that, I don't think. But within the realm of what he did, the realm of politics, he knew a lot. He was only 31 years of age and he knew a lot, and he was a polished speaker, and there was an air of sensibility about him, even though sometimes he had to spice it up a little bit. If he was dealing with somebody that was like going to be a thug to him, he couldn't be like civil and cordial and diplomatic with someone like that, because they weren't coming at him like that. But for the most part, though, I don't think that he ever said slurs or belittled somebody or tried to dehumanize them or anything like that. But he was just like very, very knowledgeable, and he prepared. He prepared, and he wasn't scared to get hostile questions, whether the questions were intended to troll him, get a rise out of his crowd, get a reaction out of his crowd, whatever the case may be. He answered each and every question. Now, tell me a politician who does that, or that's going to allow themselves, or their campaigns, or that their PR people are going to allow them to be in a situation where they could be asked any type of question. Remember, a lot of the questions that our dear elected officials take are actually pre-approved and have been scrutinized and even reworded by their own staffs. And so to be in a situation, A, where you can be asked just about any question, B, there is no, I mean, maybe there's a 7-second delay if the person says a bad word or something like that. But, once they ask you a tough question, you can't like omit that from the reel. That's live television right there, And so here we go. Live questions from any spectrum, from any intention. Okay. In a live setting where you can't erase the question, you can't, clip it over or whatever. And then, close proximity, which again, it's not safe to do what he was doing, because he was presenting to some very hostile people, crazy people. I mean, obviously, and not everybody that he presents to is crazy, but I mean, I think at this point it's safe to say that there are some crazy people within his fan base or within the group of people that would see him because he was assassinated. So, I mean, I think at this point, that's not an arguable point. He shouldn't have been, he was very vulnerable, I think. I don't know how much security he had or not, but I mean, you could tell that he always had a guy by his side who looked to be like special forces of some sort, maybe like, I don't know, French Foreign Legion, who knows, but like a really tough dude. And maybe he had another couple, maybe, I don't know. I really usually just saw the one. I mean, now that's what I saw. There might have been more people. He might have had a pretty beefed up security unit. I don't know. but I don't feel that he took his security as seriously as, say, Alex Jones, or Steve Bannon, or and I'm talking about people on the right. Okay, but I'm just saying, I would think that their security is a heck of a lot better. Joe Rogan, a right wing podcaster, I would think that his security would be pretty damn tight. And it's not because it's likely something bad could happen to them, but for the chance, the one chance in hell that it could happen, eh, you know, they're ready. And I feel I'll be honest with you. Part of the reason that I like Charlie Kirk so much is because of the fact that he didn't have that massive entourage, and he didn't have that big distance, and the gap was pretty much non-existent. And I think that that's a big part of why I watched him, because I didn't agree with a lot of what he said, but I just thought that he was just so knowledgeable, and he was just such an eloquent speaker, like very organized, very polished. He could convince you. He could convince you. And for example, if we're talking about like someone that's identifies as centrist, Charlie Kirk could sell you ice if you were an Eskimo that was a centrist. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, but he was just really, really good. And frighteningly good, actually, because if you opposed him, you had better really, really come prepared, because he was just gonna like slay you, you know what I mean, obliterate you. And he did that to a lot of people. Now, the reaction, though, that's interesting is when he would do that to a political adversary, and as a result earn a new fan. That was not so common, but it happened, because again, when you're dealing with somebody that is just ridiculously convincing and sounds ridiculously reasonable, it's just really hard. You've got a lot of people in America that are, block party voters. They either block vote for Republicans, or they block vote for Democrats, meaning that they just all the way down. President, senator, dog catcher, mailman, water board, whatever. It's all Republican or all Democrat. And when you're dealing with an individual like that, and again, they might be doctors and lawyers, dentists, they might be ditch diggers, who knows? But the point is, it's not a question of intelligence. It's just so many people vote that way, whether for convenience or just lack of knowledge. And so when someone like the late great Charlie Kirk would be asked a question on any platform issue by somebody that would fit into that sad category of voters that don't look at names or credentials, but just vote on party lines. When they would go issue by issue with someone like Charlie Kirk, because they lacked the knowledge in those issues and they just voted down the line, they started to question. And sometimes when people question what it is they're voting for or what it is they're giving money to, they don't like the answer. They're like, why am I voting for this party? Why am I giving this organization money? They don't identify with me. They don't represent me, and that happened every so often. So he was definitely on the way up. And 31, I didn't realize he was that young. That's the crazy part. I didn't realize he was that young. But I'm 46 and I still feel young. 31, I'm trying to think of what I was doing when I was 31. Whatever it was. I wasn't thinking about, not to say that if you're 90 you should expect this end, but at least when you're 90, you're like death is something in the conversation. But when you're 31, you're not thinking about dying, you're not thinking about retiring, you're not thinking about like slowing down. 31, you're the prime of your life. And he has kids, 2 kids. I saw on Wikipedia. I didn't know that he had kids. I watched some of his videos, but I wasn't like writing his biography. I didn't know like these things, and that's very sad. And you just do the math. If he's 31 and he's got 2 kids, they can't be very old. I don't know. I don't want to assume, but I think it's safe to say they're probably not very old. And now they grow up fatherless because some lunatic murdered their dad because their dad had a microphone. Nobody was forced to go there. Nobody's forced to watch his videos, but they go because they find them to be very interesting. And you could, I don't think you would find somebody that 100% disagreed with him, because he was just, he had qualities about him. Maybe that was part of his shtick to get you to like, the art of the deal. But you know, like I said, he was dangerously convincing, very polished, and very well read, and that made him a formidable enemy to any political adversary. But I just can't. I mean, it's just crazy to think about, if he was able to accomplish everything he accomplished at 31 years of age. Imagine the what if factor. What if he had lived to be 50 or 60 or 90? You know what I mean? What could he have accomplished? And could he have been a president? You don't know. I mean, 31, that is really, really young. Um, it's just, it's just, uh, you know, I'm just having a really hard time with this. But, I mean, because like one of my, assistants told me about it. I just knocked on the door, and he never comes over here, and he was telling me about it, and I couldn't believe it. And then as he was walking away, I was like, "Wait, Charlie Kirk?" And then, because at first it wasn't clicking, and then because I mean, I didn't like even realize, uh, I couldn't put a face to the name. But then when he told me, oh, he does YouTube videos, I'm like, oh, not the young kid, not the. I didn't even think he was 31. I thought he was younger than that. I thought he was like just out of college. I was like, not that kid, surely not that kid. And then he was like, no, that kid. And I was like, wow, that's 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 insane. I mean, and I can't even imagine what his family must be feeling like. I did want to say though, most of the people that watch this are going to watch this when it's not live. And if you're inclined to giving me like a, what do they call it? Like one of those like super fan things or whatever, please don't. I'm asking you to please not, and donate it to, look up Charlie Kirk and donate it to a charity that he's associated with, or just give it to charity. I mean, I don't want it, and I appreciate it, but I don't want it, because I'm making this video almost like in a way for therapy reasons. I don't know. I lost my dad last June, and well, June of last year, not last June, but June of last year. And I haven't done a heck of a lot of crying, but I've done a lot of soul searching, and I've come to the realization. I talked to my therapist too, that it's good to document stuff, and I don't mind documenting it on a video. It's all the better, because I can look back on it years from now and see. But this has really tore me up, honestly. Like, this has really tore me up, actually. And I mean, I know this sort of thing happens in other countries, but it's not supposed to happen in this country. And when and I know that sounds really messed up, but that's not who we are. And I mean, we value free speech, we value free assembly, we value, writing things. I mean, we are based on that. And the idea of somebody losing their life for giving a speech at a college campus, is just not something that we. It's just not something that we're like. I don't know how to process this. I really don't. But I just wanted to just I just wanted to make a video and just ramble on and on. But I mean, Charlie Kirk uh, made an impact. And it doesn't matter if you agreed with him or not politically. Forget about the stupid partisan divisions, and just think about hit the body of work and the passion that he had, and that we've lost him, and that his family has lost him, and all because of the way he thought.